All right, welcome back to the Tactical Devils. I'm your host, Jarvis Cocker, and tonight we have a special one. Former Premier League referee Keith Hackett is with us again, and we are diving into the big talking points from Manchester United last couple of games, VAR decision, controversial calls, and all from a referee's point of view. So it's going to be a good one. People, stay tuned, and we will be back after the intro. So see you in a bit. Yes, welcome to the Tactical Devils. It's Friday night, and we have a special guest on the show tonight. So people, start smashing that like already, and welcome to the Tactical Devils. Stu Woolley will be the host tonight, so I will just move myself onto this side and leave the wheel to Stu.
Absolutely, thank you, Jarvis. Welcome, Keith, again.
Good evening.
I think it's your third time with myself and Jarvis, so thank you very much. I know when we mentioned it during the week, the Devilish Tacticos were delighted you were coming back on, so thanks very much. Big warm welcome to everybody watching the show. If you could, as Jarvis said, please press the like and subscribe. That would be absolutely brilliant. We got loads to discuss with Keith, and we got loads to maybe tell you about what we're planning for future shows as well. And one will be particularly special because we've asked Keith if he'll do something a little bit different for us. So we'll keep you in the loop over the next couple of weeks with that. First of all, welcome, Keith. Thank you very much. How have you been this week? Or what? Actually, it's been a couple of weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's. I don't know where refereeing is at the moment. I get confused by it all. Disappointed. Easy decisions made to look difficult. Challenges that put a career-threatening risk to players going unpunished, unsanctioned. I can't remember a time when, throughout 50 years of involvement in refereeing, the refereeing decisions at the forefront of the game. And that's not where we want refereeing. We want refereeing to be in the background, going about their jobs in an efficient manner and making few mistakes. Now, everybody says, well, it's VAR, but it's the guys in the middle that have to take ownership of the decisions that they make.
Yeah, there's a lot been happening. I mean, the spotlight's right back on the PGMOL again. It came out, was it last week or the week before, about referee salaries, the elite level. People were absolutely amazed. There's a lot of ex-professional footballers talking about why they're earning X, Y, and Z in terms of finance. And then you're seeing, I know Jarvis wants to talk about the James Tarkowski challenge. I'm sure you're expecting that, which today, I believe, I think David Moyes has come out and questioned what's been happening on social media. Tarkowski's wife's come out and mentioned that certain things have been happening on social media. So obviously we'd like to touch on that. Jarvis has also picked up a couple of questions with regards to things that have just happened recently in terms of matches and the inconsistency yet again we are seeing in matches on a weekly basis now. It's becoming almost ridiculous. So I kind of want to take you back to your early days of refereeing and the buzz that you felt as being a young referee, can't wait to do your first Premier League match, to how you may be feeling today if you were the same age, the same young Keith Hackett, with a different type of profile upon you, how would you be feeling from yesteryear to today? Because I would imagine the pressure, even before you walk out onto that pitch, is just mind-blowing.
Yeah, I think you've got to understand the different pressures. And you know, the game in the past, at that particular time frame, was just as important as it is today.
Mm.
The pressures on me weren't when I was in the middle of the football field. I just loved it. The adrenaline flow, watching and running alongside players that you'd seen before on TV, not actually talking to you or perhaps swearing at you on the football field.
Yeah.
So the real pressure for me was getting time off work and meeting a diary of, if you like, in my career, starting off as an engineer in the steelworks and then moving into sales and marketing and becoming a sales and marketing director. And, you know, a few sort of insights into that. I can remember being appointed to referee New Zealand versus Australia in a World Cup preliminary game. I informed the company I needed a few days off, holiday out of my allocation, and off I trooped or shipped or flew to New Zealand and refereed a game, 1-1. It was pretty straightforward. It was relatively easy, even though it was a World Cup game. And I got back to my hotel to be informed that I'd been suspended for taking leave without permission. And ultimately, I lost my job.
Wow.
Switch forward to being appointed to referee Stuttgart Feyenoord, and 2 months into a new job, and being advised by UEFA this was a really important game. They wanted an experienced referee on it. They were concerned about security issues, and they informed me and gave me some background. And I said, got permission, and my boss said, look, the chairman of the company, you've got to be back the day after your game to be at a board meeting where we're talking about acquisitions. The only way I could get back was to charter my own aircraft.
Okay.
Now, what you've got to remember is when you're refereed in Europe, you didn't get a match fee.
Yeah.
You weren't paid. So I had to pay $2,000 out of my money, when at a time my house had cost $3,500. So I'm trying to put it in perspective.
Yeah.
Later on, a couple of years later, I was appointed to the European Cup final, Real Madrid against somebody, and had to turn it down because I couldn't get time off work. I can remember leaving a board meeting at 3 in the afternoon and running out at Highbury for a 7:45 kickoff. And I was in Sheffield.
Amazing.
So how I got there, I don't know, but you can. So those are the real pressures. Now, in terms of that announcement a couple of weeks ago, I mean, look, I was the boss of the PGMOL. I don't think, and it's a business. However you look at it, it's a company that's on Companies House. People can go in and have a look. It's a £33 million turnover business. Its brief is to supply match officials to the professional game, nothing else. When I left that organisation, be it 10 years ago, my turnover was 5 million. And so the increases are ginormous. But I don't begrudge anybody, any current referee, earning whatever they earn. I personally am for transparency, but I could not understand why that was brought into the public domain. a level of information as to how much referees earn. Because, do you, out there, your listeners, do you want your salary published in the newspaper? The answer would be, I think, no. So I think there are certain aspects of that concern me. I refereed the cup final in 81. That's a long time ago, 40 odd years. And I would, I think I said this before, as I was about to go out to referee the biggest game in my career and an ambition fulfilled, I was asked, you've now got a choice, Keith. This is your first decision before you enter the field of play. Do you want the gold medal or do you want a £35 match fee? And so what I'm trying to do is to some degree put it in perspective. Yeah. And one of the reasons when I was, before the PGMOL was set up, I'd retired from refereeing, but I was submitting the need for the game to introduce professional referees and giving an outline of the comments that I've just made as to why it needed to go professional, because you needed to take off the pressure of availability for a referee to officiate a football match.
Yeah.
And you needed to understand the game was moving and getting quicker, and the amount of time required for training to be able to physically cope with the demands of a Premier League game were becoming more and more intense. So those are the aspects of why we went professional. Now, with sports science, sports psychology, plenty of time to analyze decisions, the old ethos of a referee should be this: if you make a mistake, learn from it, do not repeat that error. And that sums up the problem of the PGMOL. They're making mistakes liberally across the board. The decisions that are being made that are worrying. We've got, let's take Sam Barrett and that challenge. And first of all, this is a relatively new referee to the Premier League who's establishing his career on the Premier League. He's still got, despite probably 8 or 9 years of refereeing before him, he's still got the inexperience of coping with all this spectators, preparation, TV, managing a derby game. It's about experience, and you need to build that experience in referees slowly. So this guy suddenly thrust into the limelight of a big game and proved, sadly, because I think he is going to be a future outstanding referee, and I think to date his career's been good, he suddenly makes a major error. Now, I just want to go into it because I know you can, and I may be ahead of myself. But,
no, it's cool.
Right. So what we've got a young, inexperienced referee working with a very experienced former Premier League referee in Tierney. Now, when we look at that decision, I've said before that the process of a referee's decision is to see, recognize that challenge, think, and then act. That's the process. What experienced referees do, like experienced midfield players, like top quality players, is time. They appear to have, they never get into a panic, and they've got vision, and they spray out a ball and make wonderful passes. This is about confidence, but it's also about that, if you like, buying time. Now, what this referee did, first of all, he's very close to the incident. He hasn't, in my opinion, he's not got the ideal view. he's seen the foul, he's not recognised it accurately in law, and he produces a yellow card. So he's actually said it's reckless. What he forgot, or what he's not seen, is the excessive force and the malice in that challenge. And that's when you expect your VAR, and this is what VAR's for, you're saying and screaming at the television set, help this guy. Because what you've done, VAR, is put him in a hole. So the blame is not, in my opinion, directly on the referee. It's on the VAR, who should have simply said, have a look at the monitor and let's have a second view and make the judgment. Now, I just want to expand it, and forgive me, because...
Yeah, no, keep going.
Right. So I'm clear in my mind that there needs to be a review of that particular incident and operational advice given to both the referee for his ongoing career and for the improvement of the VAR operation.
Yeah.
You know, talk me through the incident, ask or tell me why your judgment was not to come in on that challenge and assist the referee, because that's what you're there for. He's got one view, you can play it back, and you could have come in. Why didn't you come in? Right. He's going to give you some form of answer. I would be saying to that individual, right, you stood down for a week, minimum. You're not going to sit you're not going to have the comfort of Stockley Park in the next couple of weeks, right? You need to learn from this experience. That whole concept, that whole incident then has to be analysed with all the VARs and all the referees at some point this week. What does the PGMOL do? They appoint that same VAR to the upcoming Manchester derby.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I know.
That is like, I don't know. I mean, look, somebody said to me earlier today, well, that appointment may well have been made a week ago. Okay? Paul Tierney, in the position of the PGMOL boss, has embarrassed the organisation with that decision. He's human.
Yeah.
He makes mistakes, as players make mistakes. So if I've already got him penciled in and I've announced that on the website, right, I would be advising him that he's not on that game. And this has to be just like that number 9 who's not putting the ball in the back of the net. It has to be the same level of accountability. If you're not putting the ball in the back of the net or contributing to the team, then you're not picked. And I can't understand why Howard Webb in that position is allowing these things to happen, and there appears to be no accountability. And I can tell you that immediately after the event, the PGMOL or someone in the Premier League department came out to the media and said, as I understand it, that it didn't meet, that challenge did not meet the threshold, right, of a serious foul play event. Now, the law is quite specific, so let's look at it and dissect it. The Everton player launched himself off the ground 2 feet forward. Now, the law is quite specific. If it's 1 or 2, right, and he's off the ground, he can't stop. He cannot change direction, right? It's like a hammer hitting a nail, right? Yeah. Now, you can control it and stop, but you can't if you're a player parallel with the ground, off the ground, both feet, and you then crash into your opponent, hitting him, okay, below the knee, but well above the ankle.
Yeah.
Stud showing. It's got excessive force. It's got a degree of malice. It's reckless. It's out of control. It fulfills serious foul play. So when somebody comes out and says it doesn't meet the threshold, then I worry about that, because who is it? Because it cannot be a referee that's actually saying that, because if he is, then what he needs to do is go back to the laws of the game and study serious foul play and challenges.
No, absolutely.
If it's okay for you, maybe we can have a look at the situation. I have both this one, the overall picture, and the close-up, so we can have a look at both of them. So this is Liverpool. I can take it back a little bit. And here you see Tarkowski coming in.
Here we go.
Boom. So someone defended Tarkowski and said he came in early and hit the ball. And actually that, who was it? Was it Jota that come in really late?
Jota, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Jota. Yeah.
Well,
so I don't know when you see the timing of it all. How do you assess it?
Well, let me clarify the point first of all. You don't have to, if you're reckless in your challenge and you're using excessive force, right? You don't necessarily have to make contact with the player. That's the first thing. Now, the second point is this: in law, you cannot use the ball as an excuse. So if contact was made with the ball and then the player, right, this is still a red card offence. And I think that we often think that because he got the ball and the man, that's okay. It is not. The law states reckless with excessive force that endangers the safety of the opponent. And this is like two cars coming together where you can be charged for reckless driving without having a crash because you drove the car in a reckless manner.
Yeah,
and I think often fans and don't perhaps understand just that aspect. So he's come in at pace, he's launched himself off the ground. That in itself is reckless, excessive force, right? And he wipes out the man. And it is when you get a challenge of that nature, right? Why do we have a referee? Ideally, we have a referee to make certain that the spirit of the game and the game is played in the correct manner. The laws of the game are not there for the referee to protect the referee. They're there to protect the players. Right? Look, he's off the ground, 2 feet.
He is. So, Jarvis, can you go back to the original video? So we've got a question for Keith, because I'd really quite like to know through the eyes of a referee on the actual pitch itself.
Yeah, sure. We can go back. Give me 2 seconds.
because I want to look at his body shape, Keith, even before he gets anywhere near the ball, and I want to try and understand as a referee. Jarvis will bring that up in a sec. So if you play it on slowly, Jarvis, if you just play it on slowly, watch Tarkowski's angle. Now, the ref's watching it there, isn't he? Now, are you, as a referee, are you already trying to assess Tarkowski's body language? Because you can tell immediately, can't you, that he's going to go in full pelt. He is going to give that everything by the way that he's in his body. Are you watching Tarkowski at the time, and if you are you understanding already there's going to be a problem as a referee, or are you kind of trying to still watch the peripheral as well as what's going on? Because Tarkowski, for me, as an attacker coming in, as a defender going out, he is wholeheartedly going to clear anything that's in his path. What would you do in that situation? Are you watching Tarkowski or noticing Tarkowski's, I think, the run's aggressive straight away, and are you kind of, you know, prepared for what's to come? Because he clearly wasn't, this ref.
Yeah. When we talk about players and coaching players, they'll often talk about 10,000 times, if you like, to almost be mechanical in terms of how you kick the ball, how you move, how you make a challenge or whatever. The more you do it, the more experienced you are, right? The more accurate and higher quality of play that you can achieve. So coaching that aspect is important. And I say that because in sport, it's a little bit like the golfer. Why did they actually spend an hour hitting golf balls when it's their life and their living, right?
Yeah.
Because they're getting the body prepared. And yes, they may be taking in the wind and the conditions and all that goes with it. So in refereeing, you're building every game that you referee, be it at grassroots level or through into the semi-professional, professional living, you're building your experience. Now, one of the dangers that you see with young referees in the modern game is you want them fit, you want them mobile, and it's about the viewing angle.
Yeah.
And the viewing angle is so important because one of the things that one of the pressures, if you like, if you talk about pressures on modern referees, is the fact that there's 22 cameras minimum. And therefore, in my career, apart from the finals, you probably had match of the day 3 cameras.
Yeah.
So the producer couldn't pull up the angle. What television does is it exposes through the variable angles, if you like, vision on a challenge that that's not afforded the referee. Now, the point is, yes, the modern referees have to do their own work about the individual players.
Yeah.
You know, what is the, not necessarily the ability of that player, how do they react? You know, and therefore, in a sense, you're not prejudging, you're prepared. Now, one of the dangers of the modern referee is sometimes you get too close to play. And if I want you to think of an object, and if you're looking at the whole body, the closer that you get to the body, you've got to make a decision in refereeing terms. It's waist up or waist down.
Yeah.
So you know that you're too close. So you back off. Now, in fairness, he's some distance away, but I don't think that Barrett, the referee's got the viewing angle that we have since seen when you come this side of the incident.
I agree.
And this is where the referee's exposed, and I'm not having a big go at the referee here.
No.
He's seen it as a reckless challenge, excessive force. It's only when you see that other angle that immediately you go, whop, it's red. Now, to read in, when you see a degree of speed coming from either an attacker or a defender, you've then got to have the ability to be able to recognize, is that speed and pace to go around the player, or is it aimed at a ball in the bowling alley and knocking the skittles over?
Yeah.
You know, so you know, you get into that old debate about the challenges and the exposure in the modern game, right, is that these angles, these slow motion replays, right, are angles often not afforded on the day the match official. This is why we have VAR to balance out and have a second look. But look, I'm not going to spend the whole show talking about VAR. We know, anybody with a modicum of common sense knows that there is something wrong in the system, not the technology, in the use of the technology and applying it. And I suggest this. If you think about when you started driving a car, you sat in that car and the driving instructor said there's 3 pedals there. One makes the car go quicker, the other one stops, and the other one you need to press if you're going to change gear. And in those informative weeks of learning to drive the car, occasionally you take your eye off the road and you just, like, nothing's mechanical. It's all like, I have to think about it, then I have to look, and then I do it. The more you do it, the better you become. And this is where you want refereeing. Now, when we go to the VAR, 1 week, and this doesn't apply to Tierney because Tierney's had his refereeing career now, so he's a full-time VAR operator. And this is what annoys me, because the whole engagement is you want to do the best, you want to get it right, and you've then got to determine through the approach a consistency of everybody in that room. And the only way you do that is in the way that we're discussing this particular incident, is you review it, you review it, you review it, and it becomes then lodged up here as part of, if you like, that library of incidents that you say, last time I saw that, that was a red card. Last time I saw that, that was a yellow card.
Yes. So that was a question that I was going to ask you, actually. So thanks for bringing that up, because Jarvis has got a question for you. And I don't know whether that is the time to ask Jarvis about the difference between the Dorgu sending off. I know we were discussing it a couple of weeks ago, weren't we, to Tarkowski. I don't know whether you're in now, Paul.
I was actually 5 minutes ago looking for the Dorgu tackle. I have it somewhere. So if you let me, I will find it and we can play it.
No problem at all. So what you brought up there is kind of all my questions. They're coming out, which is absolutely brilliant because it's. I wanted it to be free flowing tonight, and I know the Devilish Tacticos love it when you just explain everything to us. The reason I brought up Tarkowski as an individual, he's not really known for. He's quite a physical player, we know, but he's not known for coming off the ground, is he, and two-footing people, etc., etc. But you could tell by his body shape, and as soon as he set off in that aggressive run, he was going to go full pelt for that. And look, McAllister had got eyes for the ball. The ref was behind McAllister, and I agree with you. I don't think he's got any type of chance of seeing exactly what's happened, because all he'll see is the ball flying off behind. Then he will make that assumption, yes, it was a reckless-ish tackle, but he wouldn't be able to actually see what's happened. And McAllister kind of fell differently, because I'm expecting McAllister to be done waist height, actually, if I'm being honest, and for him to go over Tarkowski's legs like that. But put yourself back into Barrett's shoes again. Now, look, I've seen you ref loads of times. I'm old, with all due respect. Well, I'm an old man, so I've seen you ref loads of times, and I've seen you look at something, even a Vinnie Jones tackle, and even back then I saw you stop and take a deep breath, and then make that decision. How important is that 10 seconds that it probably is that you stop? Right? Is that purely to clear your mind? Is it to calm yourself down? Because you spoke about adrenaline. you have to have adrenaline, sure, you know, when you're taking a piss.
Yeah.
What does that couple of seconds, what does it give you?
Well, I think that what it does is it you're not overreacting, and you hopefully are coming to a more accurate decision. I think that, you know, look, we what you've got to take into account is what you're seeing and how you make those judgments, and part of that process is not to rush, you know. And when, you know, I went onto the football field with an intention that 22 players came off with me.
Yeah.
Right. And therefore I had a tolerance level. Now, as I'm going through, you know, that very first game that I had was Stockport Northampton, and, you know, running out on the field and refereeing that football match, which went in what appeared to be a few minutes. The game was over. But I remember distinctly, I might have said this before, an aircraft, Stockport County is bang on the air line. It's almost like being at Twickenham watching the planes landing at Heathrow. So it's at that level. And I can remember in that game suddenly seeing the underside of a 747, thinking, wow, looking up at it. And the player saying to me, "You're refereeing the football match, Keith. You're not working saying when the planes are landing." I think that when you're looking at challenges and players, you're looking at their body language. You're looking at if it, you know,
Exactly. I agree.
Some degree of animosity and all that goes. For example, let's say a team's losing 2-0 at half time. Well, the manager, when he goes in at half time with that team that's losing, is unlikely to be saying, "Guys, we're having a really good game. I want everybody to do the same. Keep it up." One or two players are going to get a bit of a collaring from the manager or the coach. It's going to get wound up. You're not doing what I'm asking you to do. Players are human beings. You know full well that when a goal's been scored, when there's a tactical change, the compendium and mosaic of a game changes. You can suddenly have 45 minutes, everything's hunky-dory. You come off at half-time, "Oh, the game's great, I'm in control." You never got to say that as a referee. You've got to be focused, and anything can happen. And then it's how you deal with it. So if we go back to that Manchester United-Arsenal game and the 21-man brawl, right?
You got the picture, Jarvis. We got the picture.
Right. So I've got that 21-man brawl, right? And I pile in.
I know you.
Right?
We've got a picture.
I pile in. I'm a big guy. I'm trying to party. So I come off it. It's 16 seconds, I think, somebody told me. And then I'm up here, when it's happening, I'm going, well, which one do I send off? And realistically, I said to myself, and I can remember it, well, if I send him off, he's got to go. He's got to go, and he's got to go. And we're going to finish up here with like 9 versus 8. And is that good for the game? Is it good for the players? And they've paid the money. So I've piled in. What did we as referees learn from that? Right? We knew the report and we knew the points deduction and all that was the sanction. So the first thing we learn from that is when you see a mass confrontation, you will not see a referee piling in.
Yes. Yeah.
What you will see is the referee being calm, blowing his whistle, shouting to stop it. When it and you will see 2 assistants coming onto the field of play to observe. Then the referee, once it's calmed down, has to say to himself, are there any red cards here? And if there are, the away team player that's getting a red goes first. The home team player, given several yards because of the Billy Bremner Cup final clash, remember that? The next player goes, the home team. So if you've got 2 reds, off they go. The next thing you do is you say to the assistants, have you got any reds? And if they have, off they go. Then, are there any yellows? And you issue your 2 yellows. If you have a mass confrontation of that nature, the minimum is 2 yellow cards to reinstate. Now, that also now brings up a charge from the Football Association on both clubs for failing to control their players.
Yeah.
So if anybody's got time or they've got the inclination, they can go to the 1996 Carling Cup final. Howard Webb was in the middle. Wenger and Merino at the mass confrontation came onto the field of play and were duly marched off at some point. Webb issued 2 red cards, asked his assistant referee, and a 3rd red card was given, and then he gave a yellow card to each captain. So the reason I go into that detail
that's good.
is, as a group of referees and on a world basis, not just on a national basis, that procedure is now part of a process used by referees around the world.
Yeah, you see, that's quite interesting.
So when we look at that challenge that we talked about and we've dwelt on, what you want is every referee to determine, first of all, and agree, is that red card? Because that's where, if you like, the line is drawn. That challenge is unacceptable in the game because it puts at risk and endangers the safety of the opponent. And you're right, the body language of that player, right? And that's why I use the word malice. That whole picture was one of malice. Now, look, I'm not having he's made a mistake, the player, and it's, he's got away with it. I don't agree with the aggression on social media towards him as an individual, because, look, we know the law is at 30 miles an hour in certain parts. Most of us that drive cars get caught speeding. And when we get caught, we go, and then for a few months afterwards, we're careful. And this is why we learn from it a bit. And so I'm hoping that this is a learning point for Sam Barrett and the rest of the referees.
Sure.
And then what is Howard Webb doing? Will Tierney learn from that era? Well, Tierney has had years and years of officiating. And if at his point in his career as a mature referee, then this is where, right, I'm getting back to why you need a full-time panel of VAR operators.
Yeah.
Because they need to be like, you've gained experience. Jarvis has got the experience to pull up the videos because he's doing it frequently.
Yeah.
That's what you need to be doing in VAR. When you look at games, it's amazing, isn't it? We sit and watch a game in front of the television and we see a lot more than when we're actually in the stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%.
And this is why the VAR operator, if he's applying it correctly, if he should be watching that and saying he shouldn't make that level of error.
No, well, look, we are I totally agree. The devilish tacticos are talking about it all the time. One thing I have learned, and I never knew that, and whether I've never noticed it or not, I never realised that in a double sending off, the away player goes first. I've never noticed that at all. So brilliant insight.
Well, think about you at Old Trafford or wherever, right?
Yes.
And I've got 2 players to send off, and I send off the Man United player first.
Yeah, not
the level of noise in the stadium is lifted.
Yeah, no, that's true. But it's something I've never noticed. I'm pretty sure the devilish tacticos haven't. I could tell by Jarvis's facial expression he hadn't noticed that as well. Guys, we're 50 minutes into the show. Hit that like button. You get some great insight from the eyes of the centre circle here. We've got some great questions coming in, Keith. Some really, really good questions. There's a brilliant question about Platini and Blatter here, which we'll save for later, which I'm sure you'll like. I know Jarvis has got a couple of things.
Yes. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and all of you legends. Sorry, I haven't mentioned all of you. I am Titan, Nathan Devils, Trevor Wade, Rusty Shackleford, Carlos, Madhouse, Amy Wade, all of you legends. Thank you for tuning in. Help me out. Like, subscribe, share, get the word out there to everybody that we have a special guest and a special show for you tonight. But Stu, I know that you are the boss tonight. You are in the driving seat.
No, I'm never the guy.
I just want to say I have saved up a couple of controversial clips, and I want to address them with
go for it. Go for it.
We have gone through the Tarkowski tackle, and I have it's all Man United. So we talked about it. It's a Dorgu tackle. He got a red card, 3-game suspension. I don't know if you remember that Keith, when he got that red card. But for me, when you look in slow motion, the studs are up, hits him directly in the leg. So the red card is okay, but I see this situation, and there's no malice behind this. It's just, I would say, bad luck, and it comes in a little bit too eager, too rough, too raw.
The line between reckless excessive force, which is a yellow card, and a red card there's a line, if you like, that is that area where it moves from a yellow into a red. And it's the judgment on whether the player is excessive force, out of control. One of the great difficulties that we have in the modern game, right, let's be clear, is that the reaction of the opponent that has been fouled, sometimes it appears as though they're dying on the pitch. And in a way, this is not an influence on the referee, but sometimes the referee's got the judgment, and there's the scenario. In this one, the referees made it because it's a slight scissor action.
We thought that.
But I can remember this challenge. I'm not saying it because you support Man United. I generally thought that if the referee had given a yellow card, then that would have been sufficient. I was surprised on this one that Manchester United didn't appeal. Now,
they didn't appeal. You're absolutely right. And if you remember, sorry to put in, Keith, I do apologise.
Yeah.
But I don't think the ref's in a great position anyway.
No.
And B, if you remember, he was forced onto the VAR screen, wasn't he, on this? VAR actually got involved and compelled him to do it.
VAR,
He was never in a million years, was he, in his position, going to be able to have a clear understanding and clear verdict of that, even if he took his time, because he was nowhere near the play involved there 2 minutes earlier.
Yeah, I mean, one of the dangers here is the involvement of the VAR in terms of challenges on what is clear and obvious. And one of the dangers that you're actually highlighting now is that often the referee is shown a still image of the challenge.
Exactly it.
And of course, one of the other aspects is this, that when they're going to the screen, they're conditioned. If you like, the pendulum is, this ain't my decision now. This is VAR telling me this is a red card. It's more difficult for the referee to say, I'm sticking with what I've got, than it's the easy decision. And this is why I quoted a few months ago in the paper, Telegraph, I was concerned about lazy refereeing. And this is where you're getting an automatic, well, if I'm being sent to the screen, I must be wrong. And that conditioning element. And how often you go and there appears to be in the eyes of the referee who's at the screen a time pressure.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need, I'm about 18 inches from the screen of my laptop. And I see sometimes referees that are a meter away, looking at a small screen where light refraction and all those things can impair. So part of the training and education and working relationship between VAR and referee on the day must be that there needs to be a greater independence of the referee's decision when he's going to the monitor. We shouldn't penalise or say, look, you're going against a colleague.
Yeah.
If you say no. So this is the scenario. Now, there is no doubt that when the boot of a player finishes on the ankle and that area between the ankle and the leg, and that's the landing zone, when the referee sees that on the screen, he's going to go red.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely agree.
And this is why that red card came from Darren England. Now we look at England. Let's now look at the referee.
Yeah.
He's one of, in terms of appointments, he's one of the less experienced referees. So the whole aspect of preparation of the referee is not just physical, it's mental, it's the use of sports psychology. It's, how many times has he officiated at Old Trafford? How many times has he refereed at Anfield? These sort of things where full well that, what I used to do is, if a referee was coming up to referee, say at Old Trafford or at Anfield or at Arsenal or wherever, then he would go to that, and he was relatively new. He would go as fourth official.
Right. Yeah.
To that stadium.
But Keith, I just want to say, when it comes to this instance with Dorgu and the referee, I think that the referee was quite respectful in how they were calm. He went to Dorgu, they talked for, I would say, about 1 minute, and then he put up the red card, and Dorgu just walked off. So I liked how the referee handled this situation. And I think they both understood that it wasn't on purpose. It was just one of those things. And it was a red card, according to the pictures.
Yeah. I think that the management of players, there's an old scenario of body language that comes into play. When we look at the communication of a referee and a player, between a referee and a player, right? and a series of players on a football field, verbally, whatever the referee's shouting, saying, and anything, about 5% lands. Out of 100%, 5%. Body language, right, is 55%. So when you're coaching young referees, first of all, you want them to be calm. For example, if you've got a player that's in conflict with you, running towards you, or not happy, you actually react by turning the palm of your hands down and going, calm down.
Yeah.
It's a body language action that says, I'm not in conflict with you. Now, the space when you're discussing with a referee, that 2 arms length that we talk about, right, reduces the friction, because you're able, you know, the whole face and the body language is neutral.
Yeah.
You can't get into an argument as a referee, because if you do, you've got to win, and it finishes up with red cards. So you're actually often asking a player, calm down. Look, it's not as bad as it looks. Just give me a minute. Just calm down. And now I want to talk to you. And instead of saying the next time you're going to do that, I'm going to give you a red card, you'll probably say, look, I want an improvement in your behavior. Now, when we look at this, right, England we talk about a diagonal. So if you can imagine a field of play as a referee, you're running from one penalty area diagonally across to the next angle of the penalty area. That's your flow path, and you come off it. Now, he's midfield here. Now, he really should be closer to the action.
Yeah.
So there's
but Stu, I was just saying, look at the reaction of the coach and the players. There's no reaction. No one is.
No, and I'll tell you why. Because if you rewind that back slightly, and forgive me, I can't remember the Ipswich Town players, but Keith, if he was closer, the referee would have seen the sweeping left leg, wouldn't he?
Yes.
The Ipswich player went in with the sweeping left leg as well, and that's what, in my opinion, caused the conflict. And that's why I wondered whether he was too far off. What's massively interesting to me, anyway, and I love small little details. What I picked up from this is, because I was going to ask you, once you make that decision, and then suddenly you get in the ear, you need to go and check the screen because we think this, and then you're thinking, or whatever you're thinking, and then you're moving to that screen. And I'd love to know if the devilish tacticos have even ever contemplated the fact that you might not actually be able to see clearly because the sun's belting directly into the screen. And you can't quite see it because it's a small screen. And I wonder, and I know you've not had that experience, but I wonder what it would feel like when you get that and then you're having to make that maybe 20-yard walk, Keith, which might actually feel, cheers, Trev, which might actually feel like an hour's trip, because you're just going into a world of pain, aren't you? And then you've then got to make that decision, as you quite rightly pointed out. Well, if I go against them, or what's going to happen in the game? Because you mentioned right at the beginning of the show, Keith, your duty of care to every single footballer on that pitch. And you know, because you've seen deplorable challenges from Vinnie Jones. You even pointed out that Laurie Sanchez is probably worse than Vinnie Jones. You've seen Roy King. You've seen all these, Chopper Harris. You've been amongst them. You've seen it. I imagine when you were refereeing Maradona, you were having to look at. I'm wondering how many yellow cards I'm going to have to get for his kicking. So not only you're getting in the ear thinking, okay, I may have made a mistake. So you're second guessing yourself immediately. Not that you should be, but you are. You're then having that long walk across to the screen. You then potentially can't see the screen. And then you've got to think about, well, if I send him off, what kind of reprisals am I likely to see for the rest of the game? And we're all football fans. We're not in the eyes of a referee, Keith, and we're not, so you don't care about the crowd at this point. You've got other things on your mind, but you've not got one thing on your mind, the challenge. You've got 5 or 6 things you've got to determine before you finally make that challenge.
Yeah. I think...
Sorry, not challenge.
Yeah. I think that the first point is this. When you are refereeing at the Premier League level, right, no matter how many games you have, you should have the level of experience and competence to referee at this level. Now, one of the things that you have to learn as a referee, maybe through a 10-year apprenticeship, is that you are human. And this is without linesmen, assistant referees initially, and then moving in with assistant referees and all that goes with it, is that this is, at this level, a team event. And this is where that because of the speed and pace of the game, the accuracy of the passing, right, you are going to be caught out of position no matter how fit you are. And this is where pre-match, in that hotel in the morning when they're preparing for the game, the referee will sit with his 2 assistant referees and 4th official, and they will discuss the game ahead and what the referee expectation is of those individuals, right? Now, hopefully that includes VAR online so that he too or she is involved in that debate. Now, one of the things that you remember throughout your career is you'll realize out on the field of play that you have made a mistake. And the first thing you have to do is park it and forget it.
Yeah.
That is like a cut and the bleeding that continues. And you lose concentration. You forget it. And that's the important bit. Now, I think that there is a different psychology in relation to when I refereed.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, listen, my last game, I chose to referee Manchester United versus Liverpool. In that game, I awarded Liverpool a penalty kick. Then I saw, looking across the field, my assistant referee, linesman, Johnny Grinsell, flagging. There's something wrong. I had trust in him and he had confidence that I would go across. We didn't have communication kits. I introduced those. And I went up to him and I've gone, Johnny, what's the problem? Keith, you've got to turn down the penalty. Why? It was a nailed on penalty, John. No, it wasn't, Keith. There was a foul before in the build-up. A Man United player was not allowed to defend. He'd been held off the ball. Result, no penalty kick, free kick to Man United. And that is the teamwork that outwardly, nobody mentions that. Liverpool manager was unhappy, Roy Evans at the time.
I bet he was.
But the outcome was that when anybody reviewed that, right, that assistant referee had got me out of the mire. This is where I think the relationship between your VAR and referee is so important. The 2 things I would do to change, I would knock down Stockley Park because I want the VAR at the ground. I want to look in his eyes. At the end of the match, if a manager comes in and says, you've made a clanger, they're involved. The entire team are involved in that clanger, not just me.
100% agree.
And this is when I think you have the analysis to say, this is where you build a working trust. And so you're right. I think, the coaching, the training, the advice has to be how you as a referee deal with when you're asked to go to the screen and the outcome and the immediate bit afterwards.
Yeah.
And, you know, the next 5-10 minutes when the player's saying, don't know why you needed to go to the screen, Keith, to make that decision. You know, why did you take so long? It was so, these are the sort of, if you like, added pressures. So I think that shouldn't deter, in the case of VAR, Tierney coming in, because that is an incompetence at the elite level that shouldn't happen.
But Keith, you as a referee yourself, you never refed with VAR, and you never experienced how it is as a human to go against your peers.
Correct.
So there's a human element into all of this. So how do you assess that situation?
Well, I think that what you have to do is it's like a Formula One driver. You step into an F1 car, you're not going to get it off the grid because you've got to get used to the power and the weight and everything, and therefore you do the training. This is why the training with a sports psychologist, the relationship between referee and VAR, trust, analysis afterwards, how can we avoid this in the future, is all part of that, has to be that ongoing process. Now, this is why I want to open up the whole process of VAR. Why do I want it on the big screen in the stadium? Why do I want the communication between the VAR and the referee? Because however biased we are as fans, right, not knowing things is the thing that we can't stand. We want to know, we want to be informed, you know?
Yeah.
And therefore, one of the aspects of that is big screen, open mic, watch the process inside the stadium on your television screens at home, just like rugby.
Yeah.
Because what I'm doing there is I'm putting pressure on the VAR to explain to me what he's seen and what I've seen. And then I'm making a judgment. But the big thing is I own it. Yeah. The rugby referee, very articulate, all these guys, they're in an 80, 90,000 stadium. They're looking at a big screen and they're determining, and we're watching how they determine if it's a touchdown, right, or the ball has been grounded before it goes over the line. And we hear the debate. Play it again, Sam. Play it again. Let me have another look at another angle. Can you play that at full speed? You know, so that for me is where we would have, in the game of football, a better buy-in.
It's accountability. It's accountability.
Yeah, well, there's accountability.
Everybody knows.
There's also transparency.
Yeah.
Don't try and, you know, I've come out of stadiums when I've been the boss of the PGMOL and somebody said to me, what do you think of that decision? And I've gone, it's wrong, isn't it? What? It's wrong. The referee's made an error. I'll be talking to him on Monday. Now, that's not belittling the referee. Some people think it is. That's me not hiding.
Yes.
I'm not going to say to the whole world that challenge by that Everton player didn't meet the threshold of serious foul play. And then the following day, yes, we've had a look and it did. And the red card was a red card would have been the right outcome. I mean, they're the bosses. They're the organisation. They're the experts. They've run with VAR. So I'm suggesting that the pressure on the modern referee is great, but that's why we made them professional referees, and that's why we employ sports psychologists. And this is why, as a group, you can get together and chat and discuss and hopefully become better and more efficient. And if you don't, you know, I wonder how many people, well, look at Formula One. They selected a driver, and after 2 races, they've decided he's not competent enough at this time to continue. That's management.
Yes.
That's when a new manager goes into a club and goes, you and you are not on my target list. I'm selling you. You know, because you study, you prepare, and then you actually assess in the game environment. So I'd want to know why an experienced referee of the quality of Tierney, because he wasn't a bad referee, has made a basic error in law when he's got the same vision as I have and many others.
Yeah, I mean, Howard Webb went into the role, didn't he? I'm going to be all encompassing. Transparency is going to be my number one thing. Blah 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 blah. And yet he shuts down. He shuts down exactly like Riley did. You know, he just kept the PGMOL from arm's length, from supporters, from players. Look, again, I remember back in the 70s and 80s, early 90s, you'd referee, I don't know, Liverpool versus Everton. Roy Evans was the manager. You've made a contentious decision. You know, come Monday morning, Roy Evans is on the phone to you. You're waiting for that call. And he had that access to you, didn't he? There doesn't appear to be that access, that transparency of access.
Well, I think it's so important that, look, it's a working environment where you need to be abreast of the game, abreast of changes. And there are things that, you know, acts of simulation are on the increase. The cheating is on the increase. And I think that those sort of issues is where Howard Webb can play a part, involved with all managers, involved with the Premier League, and saying, look, the image of the game is being impaired because of an increased level of cheating in certain areas.
Yeah.
No, I mean, look, there were a player this week, somebody sent me a photograph. There was a player who had his hands on the throat of his opponent.
Yeah.
Right?
The Arsenal game.
Yeah. Now, let me make it clear. I said this as the boss then to all the managers, all the referees, and the media. If a player puts his hands on the neck and face of an opponent, he will get a red card.
Yeah.
And somebody said, that's harsh. And I go, no, it's not. He's a footballer, and it's called football in England, FOOT, because they play with their feet, and only the goalkeeper plays with his hands.
Yeah.
And that was a very clear, if you like, message to all the referees and all the players. What is the threshold that breaks that? And I again, if you're stood showing and you're landing on the opponent's leg, right, with force, then you can easily say that is a red card.
Oh yeah.
Everybody then understands it.
Yeah.
Referees understand it and apply it.
Yeah, you can do some damage, aren't you? Absolutely. Jarvis, sorry.
Yes, talking about landing with studs. This is the Arsenal game, Man United. We have Garnacho on the ground. It's Merino who played as a striker in that game.
Isn't it? Merino, yeah.
And there were never any aftermath on this situation after that game. So I wonder what's your take on this one. So let's just play it and have a look.
So yeah, I mean, I saw that, and That for me is a red card offence by the blue player.
Yeah, absolutely.
These are simple decisions. It's avoidable. 23, right, as a duty of care, as all players have, towards their opponent.
Yeah.
And this is lacking of care.
And you see the referee is clear sight. You have line of vision. Everything is there for him to actually do something about this.
I said it at the time, because we've had, if you look at, there are trends that come in. There are trends where the challenge is at the ankle and not in the shin. And then there's trends where the players find themselves treading on an opponent. But this is a stamp.
He knows what he's doing. Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing, and I know what he's doing. And everybody else does. And therefore, these are the ones where referees have to say, you're down to 10 men.
Yeah.
Because you have to be consistent across the piece.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. We did a show that night, didn't we, Jarvis? And we were appalled by that particular challenge.
Yeah.
Guys, we're an hour and a quarter in. Keith, it's absolutely flown by. It really has. You've been absolutely magnificent. Yeah. The Devilish Tacticos are loving it. They're hanging on you every word. We've got tons of questions. Have you got any more clips, Jarvis, that you want to go through?
I have two more I want to show. I want to get Keith's opinion on.
And you all have time, Keith?
I need to. I've got about 9 minutes.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Okay, we will run through this really quickly. So I will play two clips.
No, we want you back. We want you back again. Obviously, don't we, Jarvis? You're
always. Come anytime, Keith.
Always,
so yeah. Is this instance, and my question to you about this instance is, when I was a player, I always tried to be honest with the referee and try to help him as good as I could as a player. But I knew that he couldn't trust me completely. But my question is for you, did you ever trust any player on the pitch fully? If, let's say, the captain of a team said something to you, you would take it for good?
I think.
I mean, the situation here. Hold on. And the situation here is this one with Dorgu, and it's quite clear that it's a dive in this situation. The defender is not close to him, and he just jumps over and falls down.
Yeah.
So it's no penalty, but the referee called it a penalty. But in the aftermath of this situation, we saw this happen, and this is quite astonishing. You saw Dorgu go to the referee, waving his hand and say, "No penalty."
I know. And I think, I genuinely believe that this player, in the same way that Paolo Di Canio did years ago, received recognition for his display of honesty on the field of play. It all too often, it's lacking. Look, I think as you go through your refereeing career, right, players get to know you as an individual. You get to know players, and there's a trust that evolves. And I did not see at any stage and any player being the enemy. My task was to win them over, all of them. One, when I'm making tough calls, to make certain that they understood that I was making that call with the level of honesty that I'd made it, and my opinion. And often I might say to a player, well, we don't share the same opinion on this, but I'm wearing, and I've got the whistle, I'm wearing the referee's uniform. That's what I'm paid to do. And just like you as a player, hopefully you'll get everything right. There are times when I'm going to get it wrong and you are. And I think it's building up a working relationship between individual players so that players trust you. They have the confidence in you as an individual. Now, what we've got in the modern game with the professional referees, in my era, we had 56 referees refereeing all 4 divisions, which meant that my exposure to any one club was probably twice a season maximum. You're now getting referees going to grounds or the same club 6 or 7 times in a season. And what you've got to ensure for your own credibility is that you're showing impartiality right the way through. And this might well be, for example, in the tunnel, at the lineup. Referees have to be seen to be impartial at that particular point.
Yeah.
I think I might have mentioned this before. I can remember in a UEFA game, a big one, where I'd had, I think it was Juve, out in Gdansk in a big game in a very hostile environment because of not football fans, but because of where the positioning of Gdansk was at that particular time with solidarity. About 2 months later, I was appointed to Juventus again, and I blew for the whistle, and the away team, I was in Italy, the away team captain came up very quickly, shook my hand, right, and I'm stood on the halfway line. The Juventus captain was chatting to his players, and I needed the game to get going, and I moved and literally shook his hand on the edge of the circle, right? And the assessor came in and said, that was unwise, Keith. And I've gone, why? Didn't look right in the stadium. It looked immediately by your action that you were favouring Juventus.
Wow.
Now, that was his opinion,
Yeah.
but I took that on board.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, one of the things that I tried to do when I was boss of the PGMOL was I instigated the captain of the team coming into the dressing room with the manager 1 hour before kickoff with the team sheets.
Yeah.
So the referee says, Frank, how do you want to be addressed on the field of play? Captain, how do you want to be addressed on? Call me Frank. Okay, then call me Keith. Let's have that working relationship.
Yeah.
If there's anything untoward, I'll have a chat with you. But it doesn't give you the right to charge at me. Don't run at me with all the actions. If you want an answer to a question, ask it in the right manner and you'll get an answer. And this is about building working relationships. That was the very purpose of having that whole scenario. So I do think that I work with lots of captains, you know, and I'm sure some people thought, oh, God, we've got him again. I was going to put up with it. But, you know, at the same time, you've got to recognize that sometimes through frustration, you need to stay out of the space of that particular player. You know, it takes two to make an argument. Yeah. And it's amazing what you can do as a referee is run away from it.
Yeah.
The guy who's giving you a lot of stick, get out of his space. And the next time you might run alongside and say, look, I'm sorry, what were you saying? Because I had to get out into a new position. And it's bullshit, really, but it's part of the whole process of managing individuals on the field of play.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely brilliant. Keith, I know you've got to go. You've been absolutely superb again tonight. We'd love to have you on again in the next couple of weeks. We've got loads of questions, so perhaps we can drop you an email with them, and when you get some time, maybe you can have a look at them.
If you bang, I'll answer them over the weekend.
Oh, thank you so much, guys. Devilish Tacticos. That's okay.
Sorry for barging. I
No,
just
you
have
go
one
ahead.
thing that I've been waiting for so long just to have your opinion on this, because
Oh, go on. Yes, I know what he's going to ask you.
give me
Go
2
on.
more minutes, Keith. Sorry for asking on air, but it's just this situation, because I've seen it so many times, and for me, I think a situation like this is dangerous play, and the referees never seem to do anything about it. We've seen Harry Kane do the flick over his back on a lot of players, and we saw this on Zirkzee the other day when we played. So I'll play the clip for you against Leicester. You see, he jumps up, and the defender comes in, just rolls him over. And he lands on his back and his neck. So for me, it's extremely dangerous play. So I just want to know, why aren't the referees doing anything about this?
Incompetence, because this is a challenge that endangers the safety of an opponent, and therefore a yellow card should be an appropriate sanction. He's endangered the safety of the opponent. This is, when you look at our sport and then you look at rugby, they come in and say players who use their shoulder, right, that's going to be absolutely a no-no, and they're going to get a 10-minute sin bin. Now, in this situation, we ain't got sin bins, but that's a yellow card offence for me. And this is when, I used to have meetings and discussions with managers up and down the country on a regular basis, and they would highlight their concerns about various situations, and we would adjust accordingly as referees. Yeah.
Terrible. Faes he's terrible. For Harry Kane's been doing it for years, hasn't he?
Yeah,
getting away with it as well. We're getting away with it.
I mean, it's like the new law that's going to come in next season, and perhaps we'll discuss it on the next occasion.
Yeah, we would like to talk about
move from 6 seconds to 8 seconds, and how we see that, and how we see that next season, and will it have the desired effect?
Yeah, I think definitely on the next show we'd like to discuss the new laws, and then we'll do something a bit special in a few weeks. Keith, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much. Really, really, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks.
Take care. Bye bye. Well, Jarvis, once again, I'm overawed because I've learned so much again about the game.
I ruined everything with all the clips, but we didn't
You know
get to
what?
get to.
Did you see his face lighting up? Did you see his face lighting up when we got the clips in? He loved it. Guys, we apologise about the questions. The thing with Keith is he obviously works in the mainstream media as well. He's doing a variety of interviews all the time. We're very fortunate that Keith takes his time out to come on and speak to all of us. So, what a legend he is. We got, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, haven't we, Jarvis, to maybe talk about the game?
Yeah, we have a game coming up. We're not going to do any other previews, so this will be part of the preview, and the Manchester City game coming up on Sunday. When is the game?
4:30 in the UK on Sunday afternoon. So if you're into your F1, you've got a very early start in the UK, 7 a.m. I think it is, or maybe 6 a.m. the Japanese Grand Prix, and then obviously we've got the game in the afternoon. So I haven't been able to chat. Myself and Jarvis have been absolutely mega busy today, so I know I haven't caught up with Amarin's press conference. I know you haven't had a lot of time to look at it, so we don't know what's happening on the injury front. So if you guys could help us out with that, that would be absolutely brilliant. Just want to thank you just for listening to Keith. I mean, we're very, very, very fortunate. Every time I ask him, he always says yes. He never says no to me. Mm-hmm. So I don't ask him all the time because I know he's very, very busy. We are working in the background on trying to get other guests of Keith's stature on to talk to you guys, talk to us, and to talk to you guys. So we are doing our very, very best to bring on some some world-class ones. I love me Snickers, and Jarvis loves his thing. But we've asked Keith to do something a little bit special with us. So me and Jarvis are going to work on that in the background and do that.
Yeah.
So I did hear Delict was injured as well, Trev. So that's why I was asking, because I did hear.
And guys, give us any updates you have on the press conference. I heard through it once, and I heard it say Delict is injured, or a little bit unsure.
Yeah, looks like Jarvis is.
We might not see Delict play. So I haven't had the time to.
I mean, Harry comes in, then, do you think, Jarvis?
Yeah, obviously Harry Kane comes in. No, Harry Maguire.
you got Kane. You got Kane giving it the large one on you.
Harry Kane the rollover.
Harry Kane the rollover. Yeah, rollover Kane. Yeah, that's what we'll call him in future. Rollover Kane.
I just want to go back to Keith before we go into the City thing, and
yeah, of course.
You know, we have so many controversial clips and things about Man United. I just found like 3-4 while we were doing the show now, and there's so many things to talk about. So, you know, if I had Keith on as a regular member of this channel for every show, we could do like 1 hour segments just on referees' decision.
Oh, alone. The thing is, for me, Jarvis, you know, I learn snippets, little snippets of the game that you don't necessarily see. You know me, from a defensive point of view, I was always going to ask Keith about his body language, because I could just see straight away Tarkowski was going to come in like a 100-mile-an-hour train. Yeah. And whoever was on the end of it, that was it. You could just tell by the way he's sprinting up. But I love hearing little things that you don't even contemplate. Glare on the screen, you know, take that little deep breath and then make your decision. Pile on in, because I piled on, and he never told us this last time, because he went in. They changed the way that referees look at mass brawls, things like that. We don't even consider that referees go through, and very little tiny things, but such a way to learn from an absolute master. And you will one day, Jarvis, you will get your Diego Maradona question in. I'm going to let you ask it next time.
We never have time. You know, time flies when we are with Keith.
Because there was some absolutely great questions on there. You know, somebody was asking about what was his opinion of Blatter, Sepp Blatter. I mean, crikey. And Platini. You know, he would have been around when Platini was playing. He would have taken Platini with Juve, for example. We forget all of this. We forget the types of players. Franco Baresi, this guy.
Stu, next time we will do a full Q&A.
Yeah, we'll just do Q&A.
No question about it.
Q&A.
Just Q&A for all of you guys, just to have your questions in, because you know. Keith
Sorry, Trev. Trev's giving me some stick. I'm hogging the mic. I apologize. I just get buzzed when we get to talk to Keith. That's all.
I don't know if you noticed. I put Keith in the intro.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Right at the end. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I think it's from the Euros when he referees West Germany. I think it's Lothar Matthäus against Italy. Yeah, I think it's Bergomi.
I don't think he noticed that it was.
Yeah, well,
leave me in the intro.
It's a little tribute to Keith. You know, he's a friend of the channel now.
I was going to say he's a part of the channel. He's a friend of the. He is a friend of the channel. Keith Hackett. Keith Hackett, friend of Tactical Devils.
Friend of Tactical Devils. And guys, I just want to say we are on 25 likes.
Yes, what's happened?
It's Friday night. You know, Stu and I, we slave on the kitchen. We try our best to give you guys content. So I appreciate every like you have given. And if you haven't, please like the channel and the stream. 19. He will be a
He'll be an amazing guest. I'll do my best. I'll try and reach out to him, and I'll see if I can find a contact for him, and I'll do my best. Because ultimately, guys, all me and Jarvis do, we just try our luck. We ping emails out, and we try our luck. And we've been massively fortunate to have Keith. We're in negotiations with someone, which we can't say yet. But me and Jarvis have got a guest that we really want to get on, but we just can't find out how to get hold of him yet. So, but we're trying. Yeah. We are trying.
Yeah. And I just want to say, for the guys who are here, like Madhouse, Yale, Trevor, all of you are special, because in a way, I'm not going to slate any other channels, but they just talk about what's in the news, what Fabrizio Romano is talking about, what Laurie Whitwell is talking about, what all of they just rinse and repeat everything. I want to create original content. That's my thing. Yeah. So if you stay with the Tactical Devils, tune in now and then, and I will try my best to give you something original. That's my aim with this channel.
Yeah, just a quick one from Trev. Who's my phone? The most famous phone number in my phone book? My old mate Jarvis. Who else?
You never answered.
I never answered.
Message.
Oh,
like 48 hours later, you answer. Oh, sorry, yes. I was busy.
Yes, he's actually got a point, guys. He sent me a brilliant message, and we might get a chance to discuss it either, maybe not tonight, but in another show. Jarvis has potentially unearthed a gem, and he's going to drop are you dropping a members only video about it, or?
No. I will do a regular, but it's a pre-recorded show then. So
yeah, Jarvis is going to drop a show on it. I was busy over the last couple of days, and he did email me and I messaged me, and I didn't reply. So my bad. On air, Jarvis, I apologise.
Don't feel bad. We know how it is. Life. We all have lives. We are grown-ups, and it's
life
not
gets in the way sometimes, doesn't it? Gets in the way sometimes. Yeah, as much as we love our football, it gets in the way.
Same with me.
And I would like to say the mighty Tipton Town are in cup action this weekend. The mighty Tipton Town. We're in cup action, yes.
What cup?
We are in. It's an old man. What do you mean the over 60s? Why? Have a word. All right. It was only 48 hours. It wasn't like a week. Have a word. It's the over 55s Premier Cup or something along those lines. But we're playing against Northfield Town. So I'm looking forward to that this weekend. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So it should be great.
Northfield Town.
Northfield.
Yeah,
Northfield Town. Yeah, littered with. In fact, they've got a couple of old Parma players back in Serie A Parma players, but I don't know who they are, whether they made first team or not. But so I'm looking forward to see it. One of them's left-footed, and I hate left-footed players.
Yeah,
they're very skillful.
Yeah,
and Trev's absolutely. He knows I'm the own goal king of Tipton Town.
five own goals.
Well, I'll try not to. I'll try and keep it down to one this week.
What's the Premier League record of own goals in one game? I think it's 3. Are we talking 3?
It's 3. It's a hat trick.
Everton player in the late 80s.
It's a hat trick. Yeah, I'm sure it's a hat trick of yeah. Devilish Tacticos, if you know that, let us know, because that's a great trivia question. That is.
We have some updates from Rosh Mano. He comes in and says United have made contact with a 17-year-old PSG winger, Umar Kamara.
I don't know a lot about him, but be interesting. There appears to be some movement, doesn't there, between? I think the club are trying to get some business done early, aren't they?
Yeah. That else comes in with an uppercut. An interview with a former Liverpool player would be interesting. I totally agree.
I totally agree, actually, Madhouse. Yeah. I really do. My old mate Aldo, I call him Aldo. Obviously, John Aldridge. I call him Aldo. He's an old. No, I'm only joking. I got ripped off. Very, very, very quick story. You all know I work in automotive, MotoGP, etc. Falcon Tyres invited me to a press day, which I went to, but it was at Anfield. And then it was to the training ground, their new training ground at Moorfield rather than their old one. They hadn't moved into it yet, but they were moving the first team across. Anyway, they asked me 3 weeks out what my shirt size was, and I assumed they were just going to give me a New Balance top, because the New Balance was there thing at the time. I got there, got into the first team dressing room. and hanging on the wall is a fucking Liverpool shirt, scumbag shirt with my fucking name on the back. Yes. So there's a picture of me. There's John Aldridge and a couple of other players. Ray Kennedy. No, Alan Kennedy. Sorry, not Ray Kennedy.
Alan Kennedy, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of the coaches, Aldridge, and everyone's in their Liverpool strip apart from me because I refused to put it on. But they wouldn't let me wear a Manchester United top, which I was gutted about. So, yes, my old mate Aldo, I'll give him a ring. I'll see if I can get him on.
Yeah, I would love to have John Aldridge on. I remember him from the Euros '88 playing for Ireland. He did really well. He scored, I think he scored a couple of goals.
I did torch the shirt, Yarlam. I mean, absolutely. I used it as a rag for a few, for a few weeks, and then I torched it. Absolutely. But it was.
It's nice to have, if you're out of TP.
Do you know? If you're a Liverpool fan, what a great. Well, it was a massive privilege. We were the first civilians, for some reason, to be able to go into Liverpool's brand new training grounds. We were quite lucky with that. I did torch it. You've got to torch. You can't. It was horrible. It was just horrible. It was. We also we went on to the coach. So we were taken from Anfield to the coach to the training ground on their coach. And I had Mo Salah's seat, so I put a load of chewing gum under it just to be an idiot. As you do.
Stu, talking about John Aldridge, I have a little Friday night quiz for you. So when it comes to John Aldridge, what other team than Liverpool did he play for?
You on about Oxford? He was Oxford United, John Aldridge.
Oxford
United.
Isn't it Tranmere?
And he may have done Tranmere in his early career, but it was definitely Oxford United. I think it was Oxford to Liverpool, maybe Liverpool then to Tranmere.
Liverpool, Tranmere, and I think it was a Tranmere legend. He was like their main.
Yeah, it was an Oxford United legend as well.
Nice,
but definitely a Tranmere legend. Yeah, he was a brilliant player. John Aldridge.
Genghis Khan comes in Tranmere.
Yeah,
he confirms.
Yeah, but I'm sure he was Oxford at one point in his career. I've got a feeling Dean Saunders was Oxford as well in his career. At one point in his career.
No, he was Derby.
He was Derby as well. Yeah, definitely Derby.
Mark Wright.
Forest. Yeah. So he also played in Spain for Sociedad. Trev, is that right? Sociedad. Oh, son's birthday, Dave. Happy birthday to your son. How old was he? I hope he's had a great day. I know Jarvis's young Philip was 8.
Yeah, we're celebrating his birthday tomorrow. I'm taking all his friends out for pizza.
You legend.
Going to watch the new Minecraft movie.
I-17. What a
great time.
So I take it was driving lessons then, was it, Dave? I remember Jake, 17, driving lessons. God, your bank goes like that, Jarvis. Your bank account goes like that with driving lessons. No, I hope he's had a great day, Dave.
Quick question: how much money do you put into a car to an 18-year-old? As little as possible, or do you go for decent mid-range?
You have to. In the UK, you should only really put about 5 on the line, and that's only because from a safety point of view. Ideally, you'd want to give them a 500 quid car because they're just rigging around. But you've got to look at safety. So about 3.5 to 5 is your optimum. So we did that with Jake. So Jake had his first car. It was a little Renault Clio. In the UK, it was a 62 plate. He hated it.
Renault Clio.
It's not quick enough. But we made him have that for 2 years, and it was wrecked. He wrecked it. And then we bought him a Seat Ibiza on a 20 plate, and he drives that around now. So it's a nice car. The colour's beautiful, but he's still not quick enough. He wants my new car. I've got I don't know if you all know your cars. I've just picked up a Cupra Formentor Apps edition. It's only one of 160 and come to the UK. It's brilliant. It's absolutely beautiful. He wants to drive in that, Jarvis, but I don't let him. It's quick. It's quicker. It's about as quick as a Golf R. So. It does. I think
you want to bring us back to football.
Sorry, Barman. We apologise.
Two
We're
old,
buzzing.
you're like
We're
the two
buzzing,
old
aren't
guys in the Muppet Show, you know, sitting up on the balcony.
we? Yeah. We are like two idiots. Yeah, two idiots like that. Yeah. You are. Jarvis, don't. That will be a scene. Yeah.
So let's just focus. Go back to the game. Or Trevor had a Renault clip, dynamic sport
Wow,
bucket
is that
seat.
a dynamic sport with bucket seats? That's wow. Well, I think that's a rare car. That is. That is a rare car, I think.
Yeah. Bucket seat.
Bath time's in, by the way. Bath time, you missed Keith Hackett. Try and go to the beginning.
Keith Hackett.
You missed Keith. Try and go back. I bet Bath. No, Bath time. I don't know him, but I'm thinking Bentley. I'm thinking he's got a Bentley, something like that, maybe.
Rolls.
No, but I think he's a Continental, Bentley Continental. Don't know.
I think so. Yeah.
But anyway, we're being told off here. Focus on the derby.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry,
I have to say I haven't prepared the lineups, so we have to go with the lineups of the Forest game. But you see the colors, so basically you know what we're talking about. So City, how do they line up? Not in the back five, at least. They are backing up in a. Let's see. They are.
No, I don't know City at the minute.
4-2-3-1.
They play 4-2-3-1, don't they?
Merging into a 3-2-4-1.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to think who City would play. I take it I'll play Mamouche as the 9.
Yeah.
Because Haaland's out, isn't he?
How do you write Mamouche?
Mamouche, I think.
H, like.
I think it's O-U-S-H, I think. M-A-R-M-O-U-S-H, I think. But anyway, Marmosh will do. Him. We'll call him him.
Marmosh.
I would imagine it'll be Grealish, De Bruyne, and Silva, maybe.
Yeah. Grealish on the left.
Yeah, Grealish on the left because he scored, didn't he? So maybe De Bruyne, Silva, Foden, perhaps.
We can. I don't need the tactical. We can do it like this because I think the lineups are probably out on Foot Mob.
Just to let you know, loads of people have just come in. Boxing Straight Talks in. Good to see you, Boxing. Jordan's in. Bath time, great to see you. Y'all are mean as always. Yeah.
Okay, I have the lineups here. Let's just do this.
That would be. There you go. Oh, we were close to him.
Waste everybody's time.
Look at that. We got it right. Jarvis,
Foden, Savinho, Gundogan, Gonzalez.
Really? No, I know De Bruyne has announced he's leaving, but okay. Is that a beatable team? Is that a beatable team or?
No. This young guy, the left back O'Reilly, is quite good. I like him.
Very good player, isn't he? Yeah, he's a very good player. The one for me is Guardiola. He just has that knack of scoring, doesn't he? Yeah. Certainly against us, he's a pain for us. I think we can get at Diaz. I've got no issue with that. Nunes at right back.
But if this is our lineup, I will be furious. I would be furious. I would definitely go with Euro on the left, Masraoui on the right.
Yeah, me too.
I wouldn't start Ugarte and Casemiro at the same time because there's no creativity.
Correct.
I would start Casemiro. It was me. I would start Casemiro and Fernandes in the
correct. So would I, and I would start Zirkzee.
I would drop Ugarte.
Yeah, I would put Zirkzee in place of Bruno in that position and Højlund up top.
Yeah.
So our only change potentially, guys, we think it'd be Harry Maguire, isn't it?
Harry Maguire will come in because De Ligt is in.
Yeah. But agreed. Euro, I couldn't understand him playing right midfield. I didn't quite understand that. For me, he's got to be left centre back. Mazzari, right centre back. Apart from that, I think that would be our starting 11. I totally agree. I think take Ugarte out, and I think push Bruno back in, Zirkzee into where Bruno is, and then Højlund up top. Totally agree. I think that's a more balanced side for us.
Yeah, we need balance. But, it will be a defensive game, so it could go with like 2 fullbacks playing wingbacks and drop Dorgu just for the defensive security. I don't know.
Do you think he might do that? That's a good interesting shot.
What I've learned from Amorim is that he's a pragmatic manager. I think he's more pragmatic than we give him credit for. I think he wants to see out games at least until the 60th minutes and then try to change things up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't think he will. I think he'll stick with what we suggested, but I understand your logic.
Yeah.
There. I'm wondering, though, well, why not? Why not? We did more up front when Maguire was there than we had for the rest of the game. Hear me out here, guys. Would you maybe consider, because their midfield's not quick, Gundogan's not quick, Foden's not rapid, Gonzalez isn't rapid, Savinio's quick, we know, Doku, we know he's quick, but they should be taken out by Dorgu and Dalot. Would you argue Eriksen for creativity? I'm floating it. I'm not saying. I'm just,
it's a good question. It depends where you want him, in the 10 or in the 8.
In the 10. In the 10. I believe Bruno currently is playing his best from deep. I think he was lost against Forest up front, but that would mean dropping Zirkzee or Garnacho. And I think we need Garnacho's pace alongside Højlund.
Yeah, definitely need Garnacho on the right.
So I don't think he will. I don't think he will, by the way. I don't think he will start Eriksen. I was just floating it as a potential. It's not what I would maybe want to see, but I was just wondering. Because if you look at Gundogan and Foden in particular, there's zero pace. There's no pace there whatsoever. Foden's okay, but he's not a Doku, is he?
The thing is, too, when you know City and the way they play, I know they're not as good as they used to be, but they like to hold on to the ball. So I would say, like, they would probably have about 65 to 70% possession during the game.
I've got supporter.
Most likely.
I've got supporter in Bath.
Okay, Bath time. But what about? We will be out of possession. They will have the ball, so we will have to chase for most of the game. So my thoughts are, I don't think it's a good game for Eriksen. Because Eriksen is good when we have the ball.
Yeah, as Boxing Straight Talk says, Doku going to give Dalot a nightmare. He's talking pace, isn't he? Creativity, trickery, that type of thing. Interesting conundrum, really, isn't it? I agree with you. I think if we have more ball, I think definitely Eriksen. But I would like to see Eriksen in there. You know what, my brain takes me off on a tangent now and again, and I like.
Yeah, but it's good to have a brainstorm, sometimes, and sometimes we have to talk to think. It's just how we are built.
And I agree with you. I think we'll have less possession, but I'd like to see us not have less possession. Actually, Jarvis, I'd like to see us take the game to City, but then, just say for example, Grealish comes on. If he comes on, he's rather, he's quite quick and tricky, isn't he? So, again, Genghis Khan's come in and said, what about Collier? He wouldn't be surprised if Collier gets a start. Good shout again. I like the shout. He's got a lot of energy.
The thing is, we have Leon coming on Thursday.
We did what? Leon Thursday. Yeah, we got Leon Thursday. Yeah. So we got Sunday, Thursday.
This game basically means nothing.
Yeah, we've got Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, haven't we? Thursday. So City, Leon, Newcastle, Leon.
So let's say if you're going to rest players and play a B team, who would you select? And rest all the best players to be fit and ready for Leon.
It's a very good question, and we both know we won't do it. It's a very good question. So I'd stick by Ndiaye in goal. personally. He's back on the bench. He's fit.
Yeah.
I'd stick him in goal. What have you got to lose? What have you got to lose?
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
I would play Bindier anyway. I would give him a
Bindier.
shot. Yeah, I don't see what you've got to lose.
Like
I think
we have to play Maguire.
I think Maguire's in.
Yeah.
And I think Mazzari and Euro switch, so you can just switch those around.
So you wouldn't put for example, Lindelof in this game, just to rest.
If you're gonna play Lindelof, I'd put him in for Mazzari.
Okay, let's do this.
It's a good shot. If that's what you're going to do. And then I would take out Casemiro and Bruno, and then you replace them with Eriksen and Agate.
Okay, not Collier.
No. Eriksen and Agate.
Yeah. Wingbacks.
Wingbacks. Well, here's our problem. Because we don't have wing backs. We don't have any other wing backs that can play there, do we?
No.
So I think the wing backs have got to stay. And then I think you put Højlund up top anyway.
Yeah.
I think he needs game time.
Højlund?
Yeah, Collier as a 6, because I think he can play a 10. Collier, I think he's a brilliant player.
I heard Mainu was ready.
Yeah, so did I.
He's not ready for a full 90, but he's back. He's
so
ready for the game, and the same with Mason Mount.
Yeah, so you could push Mainu in his. By the way, this is just we're just messing around here.
Yeah. So Mason Mount in the 10 and Collier with Højlund on top.
Yeah. Now let me tell you about that. You know that offers a balanced approach to the game. It opens because you've got energy with Mount, and we know he's got energy. You've got energy with Agate. You've got energy with Collier. You've got calmness with Eriksen. You've got energy with Dorgu. Dallo, well, that'll be interesting. And Lindelof, well, you know,
he has calmness when he
has calmness. But Maguire and Euro, you've got to play Euro. Yeah. You have to play Euro. So it wouldn't be a bad 11 to start with, to be honest.
No. The only thing we could think of is probably if Mainu is ready to play, you could do something like this.
Actually, Trevor's just mentioned about Harry Amos in place of Euro. Why not? We're playing what ifs, aren't we?
In place of Dorgu, you mean?
No, I put him in as Euro because he's more of a
Amos.
Okay, in place of Dorgu, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you take Dallo out, then who could you put in place of?
The only one I could think of is putting Collier here.
I was wondering about Collier. Yeah, bring Cheeto in. I think Cheeto will be in the squad at last time.
So we can do like this. Play Højlund on the right and
Cheeto. Put Cheeto up top, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, try that. Interesting. It's quite fun, this. Interesting.
So this will be the definite B team with saving all the players for Lyon.
Yeah.
I would be okay with this.
I'd be okay with that as well. Actually, the more I'm looking at it now, I'd be okay with it. Actually, to be fair, Jarvis, I'll put Brian Deere in at Lyon.
In the most important game of the season. Don't you trust Onana?
Yeah, but this is the point. What have you got to lose? You've got nothing to lose with. You know, Onana's made the mistakes. Okay, he's tightened up the last couple of games, but 5 games prior to that in a row, he was costing us goals.
Boxing straight say we would have to swap Collier for Eriksen.
Potentially, yeah, again.
Yeah, and I don't think Mainu is ready to start, so we have to do something with Mainu.
Mm.
So
I'd be okay with that, Jarvis.
We most likely have to put Eriksen in anyway.
Yeah.
Like this.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
I'd be okay with that. You could take Højlund out and put Mainu in. If you wanted. But I think Højlund needs to play. I'd be okay with that. have City got the goal threat without Haaland? I know
Mamouche is super good.
Mamouche is very good.
Yeah.
I like Mamouche, yeah. But, if you put one on Mamouche early doors, which is what I would do, Jarvis, I'd make sure Mamouche had got one stuck on him, pal.
Looking at City's team, this is the City's team. So, Nunes.
He's not right. He's not a right back, Nunes. We can get at him. O'Reilly, great player. He is a unit. I agree with the Devilish Tactico. He's a great player.
Yeah.
Guardiola, Diaz, they're decent. Both of them are. But Gundogan and Gonzalez, that's interesting for me. And Foden, that's quite an interesting trio for me, that.
Gundogan, he's past his best.
He's gone.
He's peaked. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. I wonder whether Gundogan doesn't start and De Bruyne starts instead.
Yeah. Madhouse asked a question: should we be throwing in the towel in the derby?
No, this is Jarvis is just kind of just asking a question.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I couldn't care less if we won or lost if we win the Europa League.
We've got to be focused on the Europa
at
League.
the end of the season if we win the Europa League and say, "Oh, we lost against City."
Yeah, we've got to.
It doesn't matter for me if we come in 13th, 14th, or 11th, or whatever.
Oh, I totally agree. Anything outside the top 10 isn't irrelevant. Yeah, it doesn't matter where you come in. As long as you don't, you come outside the bottom 3, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I totally agree. I'm with you on that one. We've got to be looking at.
But at the end of the day, it's the derby, and we should do our best. We should try our best, our hardest.
Okay.
But
Genghis Khan's absolutely right. By the way, Mamouche, he is lethal at the minute. He's a hell of a player, isn't he? I didn't realise how good he was. He's a fantastic finisher. He really is. I've got a lot of time for Mamouche.
They call him the new Mo Salah.
Yes, they do. Boxing Straight talks right. Nunes is a weakness at right back, absolutely. Gundogan from Trev, I like that one. Amarin won't throw in the towel. We don't think he will either, Genghis, but Jarvis is just making a point. What if?
Yeah.
Vucinate agrees with you. Good to see Vucinate agrees with you, Jarvis. Yeah, if we don't beat City, it is what it is. Let's win the Europa League. Trev says once we're competitive in this game, I do not care once we show up. I agree. And hope Rico Lewis is playing his Rushmano comes in with a legendary statement as always. So, Jarvis and Devilish Tacticos, let's have your first goal scorer and results. What do you think, old friend? And Devilish Tacticos, want to know what you think.
Yeah. Okay. I can start with my prediction of how I think the game will go on. I think Manchester City will take charge of the game and hold on to the ball. I believe Amarim will go back in his 5-4-2 blocks and have one guy almost dropping down into the 4, so we have 2 blocks of 5.
So
and make
let me just hold you there. Do we go man for man, match them up formation wise? I'll be as close as I think to what you're talking about. I think they probably be close.
For me, I think the best defensive strategy is zonal. If you can be organized in a zonal formation, I think that's best, because I know City, they like to interchange and they like to pass the ball to drag us out of position. So we have to be patient and we have to stay in position. And I think it's most important to defend the zone in a place like that. But when you come down to the last third, you have to be more man-orientated. You can't be zonal oriented. Yeah. So
you're 100%
as long as
right.
we can stay in our zones, I think we will be fine.
Yes.
And when it comes to press, I think our Achilles heel so far this season has been the mid block for us, trying to be balanced. And I think we struggle when it comes to those type of plays, because we look disjointed, we stretch too far, and we can't be aggressive enough. When we press high, the whole unit need to press high. So we do it in bits and pieces, but not all the time. So we get found out. So I would rather not press high in this match and almost play a low block, like a semi-low block. invite them into our half, and
Yes.
and just hope that Garnacho can do something on the break, or Højlund maybe. That I have nothing more, but I have to say this Manchester City team are not that good. I saw them the other day. They are not that good. They are far from the team they were 2 years ago. And I think we are the Nottingham Forest team we played the other day is a better team.
I agree.
Besides Mamouche, I think he's really good.
Yeah. What would your score be then, old friend?
I think, as usual, we will struggle to put the ball into the net. But I think City will do the same. So 0-0, 1-1 maybe. So I'm going for a draw.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would like to see slightly different.
Okay.
On Sunday, only as much as I like to, dodgeball.
No, it's not what you would like to see; it's what you predict.
Well, let me tell you what I predict then. You see dodgeball, right? Both teams have got to absolutely go smashing for the ball. So I want us to win the toss, kick off, and I want to advance immediately with the ball. I want us to get the ball. I want us to advance. I don't want a stupid 20-yard, 30-yard ball over to Garnacho to run. I want us to advance with the ball, with 3 or 4 players in a kind of like pincer movement. I want us to start out wide and then come in on a kind of pincer movement. And I want to get it Diaz early doors. I want to hit Nunes hard early doors. And I want to see what Ederson's got, because I think Ederson's been dodgy as fuck this year. So I want to test Ederson, and I want to see us within the first 10 minutes have at least 2 shots on target. I want to be that in their face. Now, the danger of that is turnover. The danger of that is possession, which is if we play Casemiro, I don't want to see Casemiro join the attack. I want him to hold like he was when he first joined the club. I want him to hold outside the centre circle, just around the halfway line. I want him to hover and hold there. Okay, if we are playing with Maguire, we've got pace potentially with Mkhitaryan, we've got pace potentially with Yoro, Dorgu and Dalot. If we get turnover, I want to see them come in about 10 or 15 yards either side of, which is what you were talking about, zonal space. Yeah. And I want them to block, mid-block rather than low block, City's advance. That's what I want to see. I want to isolate Mamouche as much as we possibly can. Where we get isolated with Højlund, I want to see us isolate Mamouche. And if it's Delict, I want Delict on him. If it's Maguire, I want Maguire on him. When he comes into the zone 14, Jarvis, which is where Mamouche likes to play, if you've ever seen him, he loves zone 14. That's where I want to see Maguire hit him hard. No pissing about. Yeah. I'd rather give you a free kick and take the chances of our goalkeeper saving it than get Mamouche into the box where we know he's lethal, or outside the box where he's lethal. So I'm willing to risk free kicks on that outside. Now, if De Bruyne plays, it's a problem. I get it. Everybody's going to tell me. I get it. If De Bruyne is an issue, we'll have problems because we know he can strike. But I want to see us do that, because I don't want to. I know Genghis Khan's right about defensively first half. Defense. I don't want to see defense. I want to see us be brave. We're not brave enough anymore, Jarvis. When was the last time we were brave as a team? I can't recall it. Yeah. I just want to see a bit of bravery.
Arsenal game. I think.
Yeah, I want to see a bit of bravery. I want to see us. You know what? You're coming onto our turf. You've got to beat us. We need to make you beat us, rather than we're going to lie down and let you scratch our belly. I don't want to see us roll over anymore. I want to see us be brave. I'm predicting a 2-2 draw, and I think Bruno probably will get a penalty, because I think Diaz has got a penalty kick written all over him any day of the week. So I think we'll get a penalty, and I think Højlund might score. So Bruno and Højlund for me, but I think we'll probably end up drawing the game. It's going to be a tough game for sure, 100%. I agree with Genghis. 100%, I think Maguire will struggle against Mamouche. That's why I want him hitting him in zone 14. I don't want him allowed in the box. I want him outside the box. But I do agree with you. I think he'll do it. But that's what I would do. Look, this is why I love football, pal. This is why I absolutely adore football. You know, when I listen to the guys, I read the guys, and they all know their stuff. You know your stuff, Jarvis. We've all got different views on how we should win the game. That's the beauty of football, my mate.
Yeah, yeah.
Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's how
No. It's just opinions. It's just opinions. I just want to say we are on 35 or 36 likes.
Yes,
according
keep liking.
to the originator, but the aim is 40. Please give us 40 likes.
Just give us 40 because we're 2 hours and 10 minutes into the show now, so we'll be wrapping
So if
up.
you haven't liked, like
Please,
it. But
please like
we have good news. Rob Taff has just become a YouTube.
Hey, thank you, Rob Tapp. Brilliant, thank you very much.
So, guys, if you're not aware, we have a channel membership. You can participate. I think it's £1.99 a month, and you get the special emojis. I added some new emojis. I don't know if you have tested them out. I can't remember what kind of emojis I put out there. So, guys, you who are members, try out the membership emojis, and I will see them. And I will also, when I have the time, try to get into the membership, special membership shows. But time is the essence. You know, it's not always easy.
No, it's a birthday day tomorrow, isn't it? Well, not birthday day. But,
if it was up to me, you know, I love this channel. I would love to do a show every night and do it on regular basis. But it's
how
not.
do we join? The Vutinator says, can't see the join button.
Oh, there is well, at least on my phone, you just press the white one there. It's become a member.
Yeah, join. That's on there. It is.
Yeah.
Just click that.
So, and then you support a good case. You know, we put a lot of time and effort and money into this channel, so we're not getting rich of doing YouTube content. It's just the way it is.
We're definitely not getting rich, are we?
No.
You know, that's not what we do it for.
No.
Me and Jarvis, we feel we're very fortunate to have a loyal group of viewers such as you guys. You know, to us, that's really important. So, you know, we just love talking football. You know, we're right probably we're wrong most of the time, but we don't care at the end of the day. We just want to.
At least we're wrong collectively.
Yeah, we're wrong collectively, but we're very fortunate to have a real loyal set of viewers. So thank you very, very much for that. We definitely
legends.
We definitely not.
Question for you, Stu: if Mounts break down again, do you give up entirely?
Yes, you can't allow that to continue. We've allowed Shaw to continue for how many years now, Jarvis?
Is it 8?
8 years. We allowed Phil Jones. I know he's come out after saying that he tried his best to be on the pitch. He said we've allowed that for 10 years. We can't allow it anymore. It's got to stop. You know, football isn't a charity. Manchester United isn't a charity. You're a very rich young man, Mason Mount. Take the money and retire, because you're not going to ever play for England again. You're not going to get back to the level that you want. Put something back into the game. Go into reffing. Go into coaching young hopefuls. Give you experience about what it's like to be a professional, what it takes. But we can't keep feeding you and your family. We've got other priorities as a club now. We've got to stop. It's got to stop, Jarvis. It has to stop. If you are asking hardworking people, 11th year, if you're asking hardworking people, Jarvis, to say, can you know, sorry, we need to make you redundant, who are on a fraction of what Mason Mount's on. You can't allow Mason Mount to drain the club for money anymore. You can't allow Luke Shaw to do it either. I'm sorry. It's got to stop, and you need to move. They've got to go. He's doing okay, isn't he, over in Turkey?
Playing in Cyprus or Greece.
Or Greece, somewhere like that. He's doing
Olympiacos?
Possibly. I know our old number 11's having problems, isn't it, at Marseille?
Yeah, apparently Man United or Marseille are trying to get him sold. He's had a fallout with the Serbi.
He's had a Deserbi. Yeah, Deserbi didn't want anything to know about him, does he? So, and
we have is it a 50 or 60% sell-on clause?
We got a 50% sell-on clause. So
50%. Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, we could make a lot of money on Mason Mount. No,
we should do. I mean, he started off
Greenwood.
well. I mean, there's talk that well, there was talk Barcelona were interested, but I don't know whether that's still on the table or not. I don't know. Oh, thank you. I see that Real Madrid finally losing patience with Vinicius.
Oh,
I heard today he's a bit of a pain in the arse, apparently.
Oh.
Can't tell you where that came from, but apparently he's a pain in the arse.
Right up our alley. Joe Glazer will call him in the morning.
Yes, well, I was thinking of
calling a ridiculous sum of money and say,
we'll get Vinicius. We'll get Vinicius on the channel show. We'll have a chat with him. So we hear directly that you're a pain, Vinicius. Is that true? Can you comment on that? Would you like to comment on that? So that's what we heard. Yeah, prima donna Vinicius, absolutely. By accounts. Yeah, I thought he'd done okay. I thought his strike rate was okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. It's actually not bad.
No.
But when you think of injury-prone players playing for Man United, why always us?
It's always us. It is always us. I mean, we've
Is
not
it
had.
Carrington? I've been wondering a lot of the time. Is it Carrington? Is the ground on Carrington? Is it too hard for regular daily training, or is it something?
If you ever visited the cliff, trust me, you want to know what hard turf's like. Go to the cliff. As much as they tried to do it.
Stu, I played on the old AstroTurf when I was growing up.
Yeah,
and that was like a thin, like, is it called field math? Like that.
So it was like, yeah, so it was like carpet. Yeah, it was like carpet.
Yeah,
yeah. Used to
and it was like
compact
gravel underneath. So there were no.
There was at the time. It was sand. It was sand and gravel. Now it's obviously little rubber tires.
Now you have the rubber pads.
It's actually recycled tires. It's recycled tires, you know.
Not anymore. It's cork.
Oh, is it cork now?
Yeah.
Tires, in the UK.
No. It's microplastic into the environment, so it's banned.
In the UK, at the minute, most of ours have still got little rubber tire balls.
Ooh, not in Norway. Not in
Norway. Oh, well, yeah, whatever. 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 All right, let's all go to Norway then. Playing a proper 5G pitch.
Well, but the thing is, when you play on a hard ground, you feel it in your lower back, you feel it in your knees, you feel it in all your like joints, and it's not good. So I don't know. Is it Carrington?
Well. Well, I suppose. I mean, they're trying to get hold of. They're trying to get hold of Trent Alexander-Arnold, aren't they? Because I think he's exceptionally friendly with Jude, isn't he? Rashford wants to go to Madrid. Yeah, okay. Well, good luck to him. I hadn't heard that one boxing, but yeah. I think Rashford just. I think he's living in a dream world if that's the case. But hey, that's up to it's up to him. What would we get from Madrid? 40 mil.
I think we should be bold and ask for 60.
Oh, you should, yeah. I mean, if they
want him, they have a lot of money.
Yeah, they do. If they're wanting him, then maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Genghis Khan says, "Is he drunk again?"
Gaza.
Well,
that was
even yeah. What else? Rashford wouldn't get on the bench at Real Madrid, yeah. Well, there you go, pal.
If Vinicius Jr. goes, they need a replacement.
Vinicius, Rashford, why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
And we see, but the thing is, we've seen it before. Anthony going to Spain, doing well.
Mm-hmm.
He might hit on in Real Madrid.
He might. Jarvis, did you ever have pink boots? If you did, don't tell Stu. Pink boots. Wow.
Pink boots. Well, I have to admit, I one time had a pair of Nikes that were like salmon.
Ooh,
Yeah.
dear me.
But they were one of the best shoes I ever had. They were super
You were
soft.
young.
It was
You
like
were young.
wearing socks.
Yeah, you were young as well. So that's okay. We can live with that.
I had the number 10 on my back, and pink boots,
Oh,
long
God.
hair, peer low.
Oh, my God. Oh, God. Oh, no. You didn't wear gloves, did you?
No, but I had those tennis
Oh, you
wrist
had the tennis,
bands.
yeah, the
Yeah,
wristbands. Yeah, the sweatbands.
yeah.
Oh, dear.
Accessories.
Dear.
I look like a dumbass.
Genghis can't speak. Can't speak Genghis. That's apparently there's a 1 hour sit-in. Sorry, we apologise, Rushmana. We
Yes.
haven't talked about it. We understand there's a 1 hour sit-in after the City game, and it'll be a silent sit-in. It'll be peaceful, and it's a continuation of what the 1958, I believe, set out over the last 6 to 8 weeks. So yeah, it needs something, and I'm all for it. Jarvis, there we go. Leaping salmon boots, towering like a salmon. He's called towering headers in those boots. Very good. Guys have got his shell suit out for the celebration. At bath time, still using sweatbands. There you go.
Yeah,
Jarvis
good for you.
with
I'm not.
those boots. Hey, you got a lot of love about your boots.
Yeah.
Yes, I like it. City are also protesting, bath time thinks as well. That's good. That's really good. Yeah, and Rob Taft says City are protesting as well.
So the sit down or the sit in?
It's a sit in. It's like a sit in.
So can you explain it to me, Stu? Why and what will happen?
Well, a sit in basically, and I don't know enough about this to really go into it, but a sit in would normally be that the fans would stay seated after the final whistle, and they will stay seated for an hour, and it's all to do. They'll chant, I would imagine, about ticket prices, or they'll hold some banners up about ticket prices. But that's what they'll do. They'll just basically stay seated.
Mm-hmm. But what will the stewardess do? Will they try to throw them out, or will you just?
No, stewards will just let it happen.
Okay.
They'll just let it happen. They won't try and. Those boots sound a bit fishy. Darren Pink, I like it.
They were Nikes.
Rob Taft says, City aren't taking their seats at first, but he's not sure. There's not a lot about it, I don't think. Stewards won't do anything yet, I agree. And it's true. It will cost them in police fees, etc. That's true. Yeah. Jarvis, more salmon boots, but don't think he got the salmon knowledge.
Salmon in Norway.
It's synonymous, isn't it?
It's like, yeah, it's the same. It's the same.
Yeah, jumping out the Norwegian fjords.
Export that's salmon. Yeah. We have oil and fish.
Like a salmon, salmon, with his long flowing locks. Get in there.
But Stu, how many times a week do you have fish?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't. I should. No, because of omega-3, it's good for your fishes. But we not just no.
I think I've had fish at least 4 times this week.
Wow.
But I'm 48 years old, but it's good for you.
Yeah, I know. But I do take I take cod liver oil tablets.
Wow, that's good. That's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
But I don't necessarily. I'm not a huge fan of fish, but I do. I will have it occasionally. I love fish and chips, from the chippy, which I know you don't class as fish. I get that.
Yes, you can class it as fish. I usually buy those not what do you call it? The fish fingers, but the bigger ones.
Yeah, the fish fillets.
Them in the air fryer. Yeah,
or the air fryer. Yeah, but I like a steak, to be honest.
Yeah.
Which is not great.
Salted cod. Yeah, that's the thing. Salted cod with potatoes, bacon, with what do you call it? The sauce, the white sauce, and
it's I don't know what tartar sauce it is. Tartar sauce.
it's
White
kind of
sauce.
a white sauce with carrots in it.
Oh, yeah, with carrots. Oh, right. We have like a tartar sauce.
Almost like
in
a
the UK.
stew. The sauce. Yeah.
Mr. B comes in with salmon in Norway's like beans in England. Very good. I like that one. Smoked mackerel. Trev's into smoked mackerel.
Oh, smoked mackerel.
Yeah. It's you started a fish thing there. You started a fish thing. Fish fingers, sandwiches.
The thing is, when you get older, you need to be aware of what you eat.
You need to be aware of what you eat.
You
Yeah,
can't eat a bag of crisps every day and hot dogs and burgers all the time. I have to be aware.
Which is why I go to the gym. I do a lot of cardio at the gym. It keeps me, keeps me lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it means I can still
wife happy and.
Yeah, well, it means I can still play footy.
Yeah.
Which is what it's all about. Yeah, which is what it's all about. I'm not a huge mackerel fan. Sardines and tomato sauce. I'm not a huge mackerel fan, but I think mackerel's gone down quite well. Apart from in Norway, can you see salmon going up those fish ladders dressed as evil Knievel? Dear me. Yes, we need to get a fish sponsor. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
The salmon guys are the richest guys in Norway.
Yes, we are trying. We are working on getting a sponsor. I'm trying to anyway, because it will help out things a little bit. But
if any of you know a sponsor,
yes, please let us know. Yeah, please let us know. Right, old friend, it's what 2 hours 30 minutes almost.
Yeah, it's been a good show. Yeah,
it's been a great show. It's I think I need me bed, old friend.
Gavin Underwood is in here.
Oh, Gavin.
Pairings, yeah. Started the fish thing.
Yeah, you have started the fixing. There's jelly deals. Madass likes jelly deals. Yeah.
And every meal I don't eat. I try to stay away from carbs. Because I'm not a no carb guy, but I stay away from just a little bit carbs. That's okay. But I eat a lot of salad.
I like salad. I'll have pasta. I'll have pasta
tomatoes, red peppers.
Yeah.
I'll
have pasta tomorrow. Quite like my pasta. It's easily digestible. So I'll have that tomorrow. Love pasta. But I like most things, but I just don't eat a lot of fish.
Oh.
Maybe I should start.
Maybe.
Neo, you've come at the wrong time. Big up anyway.
Big up. Coming all the way from South Africa. Big up.
Big up. No, listen. Big up. Have a look at the show now because we had Keith Hackett on earlier. And he was absolutely amazing. He's been brilliant in the last two shows, but he was absolutely on point tonight.
Yes.
He was brilliant. We will get those questions to him, by the way.
Mm-hmm. So, boxing straight talk. Trevor, Mr. B, less so coming in late. Bath time. Madhouse, Rope Taff, Gavin Underwood. Just gonna scroll a little bit higher up here to get. We have Rushmano.
Just a message from Keith. Just to thank everybody for the support you've shown him tonight and the love you've shown him. Keith just sent us a quick message to say thank you. So I will pass on to Keith as well. Absolute legend. We'll try and get him on over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah,
we'll keep.
And I want to thank Rob Taff for becoming a member.
Yes.
And nice.
Yeah, thank you, Rob Taff.
If you're not a member, you should really consider being a member of the great Tactical Devils with me and Stu. We're not sitting here trying to talk about all that Fabrizio Romano and try to.
Who's Fabrizio Romano? I've never heard of him.
It's all about the emotional triggering and all of this, sitting here shouting at each other. And I'm not that type of guy. I'm too old.
Me too.
So used to.
Oh, I'm way too old. If you're old, I'm definitely old.
We are the same age. Jordan, Yalim Almin, who else?
Mr. B's been in. Everybody. It's been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it.
Well,
We are going to be
it's
back
been a great
Sunday.
show. Friday night, late. Fantastic to
Yeah.
have you guys watching. And I think we are on how many likes? Let's see.
We're about one shy of 40, aren't we? I think. Oh, we got 40.
I think we are on 40. So if you haven't liked the channel, so we will become on 40. And if you're watching in the rerun, smash the like.
Yeah, we will be back Sunday early evening, I'd imagine.
Yeah. We go live after the game. So yeah.
7 o'clock-ish, something like that.
Ish.
7?
Yeah.
7-ish, something like that. 7.
We'll go live. You will get the notification. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Very much appreciated.
Yeah. It's been a good one. Have a good night and see you on Sunday night. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.